A woman is dead. The killer is still in the neighborhood, and police have no idea they've already met him.
Suspect, or what do you guys know about what happened?
It's 2 a.m. in a village so quiet, nothing ever happens here. But tonight someone slips out of their house, walks 10 feet to their neighbor's door, and commits murder. By 3:15, they're back in bed, like nothing happened. When detectives finally come face to face with the killer, they don't see a monster.
If it's a murder, then it would be a monster, right?
It's just past 11 a.m. on a Sunday. Fairfax, Ohio is the kind of place where everybody knows everybody, which is exactly why, when the 911 call came in, it hit different. On the line was Sheila Tenpenney, Sheila's brother. He'd found her. And before paramedics had even entered the house, before anyone had suggested anything, Daryl was already certain. His sister had been murdered. That certainty? It would make him the first suspect. Inside, officers found Sheila partially clothed, deceased for what appeared to be several hours. No break-in, nothing stolen. For a moment, they actually entertained the idea of suicide, and that assumption handed the killer his first lucky break. But then, they looked closer, blood beneath her fingernails, tufts of hair, and defensive wounds across her hands that told a story she never got to finish. She fought back, hard. This was no longer a suspicious death. This was a homicide, and somewhere in this neighborhood, the person responsible was still watching. Monday morning, investigators canvassed the entire street. They collected DNA. They looked for enemies, grudges, anything. But Sheila had none. No drama, no disputes, nothing. Then a neighbor mentioned something. The house directly across the street. A mother and her twin sons. One of them had shown up to the ER early Sunday morning, with deep scratches across his face. When officers knocked on that door, they met Rebecca, calm, cooperative. She explained the scratches immediately.
What happens now? He's only 13.
The house cats spooked her son in the dark. They'd gone to the ER, everything was fine. But just inside the window, 13-year-old Levi was already panicking. He ran upstairs, locked his door. When detectives finally met both boys,
I believe this is a murder, so camera on.
Just try to touch as least as you guys can, do what you guys gotta do. Yeah, no, I don't see you have blood.
Hunter came out easily, untalkative, almost eager. Levi was harder to find. He'd been upstairs editing clips from Dexter, a show about a serial killer who believes he's too smart to get caught. The scratches on Levi's face were deep, 5 stitches deep, and the explanation he gave, he just kept going, adding details, layering the story, in a way that felt less like someone telling the truth, and more like someone who had rehearsed it. DNA swabs came back the next day, and both brothers matched the sample recovered from inside Sheila's home. But there was a problem. Hunter and Levi are identical twins. Forensics couldn't tell them apart, so detectives did something bold. They brought the whole family in. The moment Rebecca figured out what was really happening, that her sons were being questioned for murder, the station erupted. She demanded lawyers, she demanded answers, and she wasn't wrong to. But inside those interrogation rooms, something crucial was already unraveling. Hunter, unprompted, kept circling back to his brother's scratches, framing it as coincidence, but bringing it up again and again, in a way that felt less like defending Levi and more like quietly pointing at him. Then detectives placed something on the table in front of him, a photograph, a wristwatch, found underneath Sheila Tenpenney's body. Hunter stared at it for a long moment, and then he said, "That's Lewis's watch." In the other room, Levi wasn't cracking. He pushed back on every question, calmly, methodically. Even when detectives bluffed, told him his blood specifically, not his brother's, was found at the scene, he didn't ask for a lawyer, he didn't call for his mother, he just sat there, trying to logic his way out. That confidence would cost him everything. While Levi sat in that interrogation room convinced he was winning, his bedroom was being taken apart. A journal filled with violent writing, repeated references to wanting to kill someone, an obsession with serial killers that went far beyond casual curiosity. Books, saved content, research, Ted Bundy specifically, over and over. Sheila's blood confirmed by forensics, gloves matching the ones used at the scene. And on his phone, sent one day after the murder, a single message that removed any remaining doubt. This one was a fighter. This wasn't impulsive. Levi had been planning a murder for months, researching how to choose a victim, how to strangle someone, how to survive a police interrogation. He'd studied every mistake others made before him and still made his own. On November 10th, 2025, Levi Cart pleaded guilty to aggravated murder, aggravated burglary, and strangulation. He was 13 years old. Under juvenile sentencing law, he'll be held until he turns 21, potentially free by 2033. For Sheila's family, that number doesn't feel like justice. It feels like a countdown. The lead investigator said it plainly at sentencing. Levi made mistakes. We got lucky because of it. But what happens when he doesn't? What happens when he's older and smarter and has 8 more years to think about it? That's the question nobody in Fairfax, Ohio can stop asking.